Blackfoot Communications is actively supporting the communities we serve across Montana and Idaho. We are installing hundreds of miles of fiber in our service territories, increasing the broadband experience in our rural communities. We are delivering remote workforce solutions for our business communities. We are creating new, innovative solutions for our local entrepreneurs and enterprise organizations. Learn how your company can benefit. Call today at 541-5000 or go to blackfootbusiness.com. Blackfoot Communications. Connect to more.
Sure, yeah, Mike, I'll start. You hit that three to go up 17-0, and you guys were in such a good flow. What was going well during that opening run, and then what did NAU adjust to kind of make it more of a slowed down game in the second half?
I think it just all started on our defensive end and like our energy coming out the game. I think you've seen that led into our offense. A lot of our scores came from defensive stops, so I think a lot of that came from us bringing our defense.
You guys
Kyle,
talked about.
Oh, go ahead.
You guys, Michael, just to kind of piggyback on that, you talked about that energy. It looked like you guys had more of it than NAU. You know, was that just a talking point at that point? Because that first 4 minutes, I mean, you guys pretty much dominated them at every point.
Yeah, I think so. Like Trav came with a plan. He wanted us to be the first to everything, first rebound, make him call the first timeout. So I think us coming out the gate with that energy carried on throughout the first half, as you've seen, and then in the second half, we came out flat after that first media. So I think that's what you guys seen.
And I'll follow up with that for Kyle Owens. Just Kyle, the charge you took tonight was your 13th charge you've taken this season. You know, I'm just kind of curious, you know, what did you do like with your game? I mean, that's quite the stat, you know, honestly. Where have you, has that been a focal point of your game this season?
Yeah, kind of just in general, kind of can feel out when to take the charge, when not to. So, I mean, it's kind of just a feel thing. I know Josh taking a few also, learning from me, so.
With is it a timing thing? Like, how do you get so good at, you know, just timing those correctly?
Yeah, just timing it, reading the guy with the ball, whether he's going to jump to pass it or jump to shoot it. It's kind of all just feel for it.
Is that something you had experience with in high school, doing that kind of thing on a defensive end, or is this something you really felt you've grown really since you've been in Montana?
No, I've been doing it since high school too. Just always trying to get charges. So
cool, thank you.
Josh, I know you guys lost in Flagstaff last year. Did that go into the mentality as preparing for this? Did you guys remember that coming into this game?
Yeah, it was for sure, but we didn't want to lose to them again, and then we just like thinking of that throughout the game, just kind of trying to come with energy because, you know, a loss that carries on for a while until you get a win.
In your mind, when you guys are in a flow offensively, and then when maybe you're not in the flow offensively, what's the biggest difference?
Just turning down good shots to great shots. Like in the first half, we were making really good passes. And even when the shot clock was going down, we were like finding wide open guys. And the second half, it kind of slowed down a little bit. So we got to tighten that up.
Hey, Josh, just recently starting off the games, you've been hitting a lot of three balls, but this time you continued on shooting throughout the rest of the game. What did the defense show you this game?
Just gave me a little bit too much space. And then my guys get me open on screen. So when I get my open room, I'm going to let it go.
You mentioned you guys were making extra pass. Trav's stressed all season. Make the extra pass, make easier shot. You guys really showed that tonight. What did you see from, I guess, the defense to, you know, create those open lanes and those shooting lanes to get those extra passes going?
Yeah, they definitely like had us like with some open lanes, but they kind of adjusted to it at the second half. Like you can see, like they were more like, I guess, tenacious on defense, more aggressive than us. So that's one thing we got to work on. And they were just pressuring the ball, so like we couldn't like whip our passes back and forth, and that made it a little tough.
And then Mike and Kyle, you boys are down low. You guys are creating a lot of space, but had 13 offensive rebounds. What do you guys need to do to clean that up next game?
Got to box out, get back in practice tomorrow. Just that we know we got to do next game. So,
yeah. Kyle or Josh, what's the biggest thing Kyle's taught you how to take charges with?
I don't know, because you know I've taken so many charges. It's just kind of hard to point it out.
I think once he sees me take a few, he's like, I think I got to get one now. I'm going to go try and get one.
I was about to say, do you feel you've taught Kyle how to take charges, or do you agree with his statement?
Yeah,
Self-taught.
I give him a little pointers here and there, so that's why I get the confidence to do it.
Mike, you hit the first shot after that 10-minute cold stretch. What did you guys do? Anything like change anything up, or how do you come out of something like that?
I think like what was overlooked during that time period is we was missing a lot of wide open shots too. So I don't know what it was. We came into a slump where we weren't making anything. So I feel like we were just sticking to what we do, and eventually the shots are gonna fall. The percentages always balance out. So I wasn't really worried about that.
Got off to a good start, probably best start we've gotten off to probably about 2 or 3 years, I think. Defensively, we were tuned in. I think the biggest thing offensively, we moved the ball. It was a good sight to see when we were turning down okay shots for better shots, not too concerned with who was getting those shots, which led to a positive assist to turnover ratio first half. Phenomenal job on the glass in the first half. And, we lost sight a little bit. I think we started playing to the score, and then they make their run late, and we made it a little tighter than we wanted to be down the stretch. But they'll be better Saturday, and we need to be better Saturday as well.
Trav, you mentioned ball movement. Is that the biggest factor when it comes to just your guys' flow on offense? Because it seems like when you do move the ball, you're pretty efficient offensively.
Yeah, I think someone said we had 138 passes in the first half, which that's about as many as we've had in some games. And we just got to be willing to turn stuff down, not hold it, not pound it, and just get it from one side to the next. Anytime you make someone guard the ball on 2 or 3 sides, you're going to get a high percentage shots. And we typically shoot, I think, about 60% from the floor when we get second, third side, and we did that in the first half.
That run then, is that a good example to show the guys that, hey, this is how it does work if you do, the opening run? Is that something you can show them and say, hey, this is how it works if you do move the ball?
No question. And it just creates a positive mojo. Guys are excited about it when multiple people touch it and you're taking really good shots. And even when the ball's not going in, you still feel like you're getting good shots and you're playing the right way. And it's hard to do when you're up 22, 23 points. And next thing you know, the game's tight. And you try to turn it back on again, and it's really hard to turn it back on when you've taken your foot off the gas. And I think we did a bad job of doing that, of handling that tonight.
Last one for me then, is that kind of a learning experience, just learning how to play with that big of a lead in a conference game? Because you guys haven't really had a lead like that yet with this young team.
No, that's what young teams do is, you start looking up at the scoreboard and trying to check out the stat sheet. And, let me throw one up here and there. I haven't shot in a long time. We're up 24. Why not? And each guy takes turns doing it, and you rotate through 8 guys, and next thing you know, it's a 16-0 run.
With that, with that run, Travis, is that probably the biggest thing during that run? Because it was almost 10 minutes without scoring. Would you just say just bad looks, bad passes, things kind of just maybe getting complacent?
Yeah, our offense affected our defense during that stretch. So we weren't playing as hard defensively. We weren't rebounding the ball very well. They were getting a ton of second shots. We fouled 3-point shooters. We just had a lot of things that were out of character for a team that's defended the way we have. And on the offensive end, we were just trying to get it back in a hurry instead of having the same patience. In the first half, we were getting the late clock a lot. And I was like, it's okay. It's okay. If we're going to score and we're getting the shots we're getting, be okay with that. And I just didn't feel like we had the same patience in the second half we had in the first half.
Kyle took his 13th charge in this game. Just, what's he been doing defensively where he's been in those spots, timing things correctly? And is that one of his improvements you've seen from year 1 to year 2?
No, he might have taken just as many charges last year too. And maybe a few less just because he played fewer minutes. And when we recruited him, that was something that stood out. I mean, he's always done a good job of being at the rim and rotating and giving his body up in those areas. So that's a strength of his, and it's something that we count on from game to game.
How's him and Josh were kind of giving each other a little bit of crap because Josh obviously is pretty good defensively as well about who taught who. But I mean, does that rub off on other players, just them seeing him doing something like that to help switch possession?
Well, I think anytime someone gives up their body, right, and takes that type of contact, it tends to be fairly contagious And you want to give your best effort when your teammate is making plays like that. So yeah, I think it is contagious.
Cool. Thank you.
Travis, I think it was something like 66% from behind the arc in the first half, and then you guys finished 8-20, the tied for the most 3-pointers you guys had, and it really just felt to me that there was just some really good looks and stuff, and I guess just from seeing some of those shots go down for those guys has to be good for them, right?
Yeah, no question. And like I say, I think guys did a good job of getting the ball to the right person and turning some stuff down. And when you do that, you're going to shoot for percentage.
Coach, I just hopped in late, so maybe someone already asked this, but Cameron Shelton, I mean, the guy's the top scorer in the conference, 12th best in the nation with what he had coming into today, and you guys shut him down in the first half. What was it that you guys were doing that made it so hard for him to even get past the perimeter?
We did a really good job, I think, helping from all the right places, and there was a wall every time he tried to get to the paint. And it was a team effort. I thought Josh Vazquez did a good job as a secondary matchup on him. Eddie Egan got some time there and also did a good job. So I thought we did a good job by committee with getting me starting off on him. And he got loose on us a little bit late, but I think we still would have held him under 15, which was the goal, if it weren't for the fouls late.
And speaking of the first
we had him in situations where he – go ahead.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying, Coach? I'm sorry.
I was going to say just late, we had him in some situations where he wasn't going to take a shot he was going to make, and he ended up at the free throw line. So we got to look at the film and just make sure guys are, we're not gambling and reaching and just build the wall and force them to make those types of shots.
They say, speaking of the first half, I mean, beyond just having that wall that you mentioned, on the other side of the ball, a 17-0 start is pretty noticeable, especially given how close these conference games have been. What was it that allowed you guys to just burst out of the gate like that?
I thought it was our defense. I'll be honest with you. I think just the fact we were getting stops and holding them to zero, we got in transition. We were running what we wanted to run. When you're getting stops, you're not really seeing a set defense, and so it's easier to flow. And we were just playing really, really unselfish basketball. And when you play like that, you're going to get high percentage shots.
Anything else for Coach?
Yes, real quick. Your bench was as boisterous as I've heard them all year. Is that something you told the boys to make a little noise for them?
Yeah, I mean, we just, each game you want to be a little better at supporting your teammates, the guys that are on the floor. We were emotionally attached to the game. It's always a good sign when the officials are, come to you and tell you your players need to sit down and whatnot. So that means they're bringing energy, and it's a lot easier to perform out there when your brothers have your back.
Lastly, second chance point, touched on it, but 13 or 14 offensive rebounds had. How do you guys need to clean that up next game?
We need to rebound the way we did in the first half. We got to put a body on guys and find them. And we were helping a lot on Shelton, and I think we had too many guys on him, 2-3 guys a couple times. And when guys are airballing and shooting it over the rim, you're not going to get that ball unless somebody goes and puts a body in. And our guards could have done a better job of getting inside those guys when we were rotating. I don't think we did a good job of that.
Thanks.
Speaking of going off what Darren asked, speaking of bench, since there's no cheerleaders, would you give that cheerleader of the year award to Mac Anderson? Because he was pretty loud. He was pretty hyped up from what I saw.
Mac Anderson, Eddie Egan, Fred Brown, those guys have been phenomenal when they're not in the game. And they do a good job of keeping the energy going and supporting their teammates, even through adversity. So we always recognize that.